Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for visiting me again. How are you doing? Sorry, I can't really see the monitor very well today. So just gonna do, as I was promising, just a little bit of a session about how to use this keyboard and play some kind of interesting jazzy things, but of course not really jazz, but how's those volumes there? Okay. So we're just gonna learn some basic things. If you own like a Yamaha or any of these kind of brands of keyboards, there's some things you can do to get by and actually sound pretty cool without being, you know, having to spend a lot of time really learning and practicing. So I have those two progressions. We're going to talk about them. The first one is a D minor 7, G7, C, and then C. With your left hand, you know, you can just play. I have to assume you know where the notes are. So we're just going to play a tetrad, so a 4-note chord with our left hand. We'll play a D, skip a note, play the F, skip a note, play the A, skip a note, play the C. There's our D minor 7. The idea here is we're going to use these built-in beats and rhythms on the keyboard. We're going to just find something that's kind of jazzy. So let's just, in this case, I press jazz, and you know it's kind of early in the day, so we're just going to make something that's not too. Hear that? And then put on our audio accompaniment feature. That's our D minor 7. Pretty simple. Now what you gotta do is take this exact same shape and put your pinky on the G. Usually the keyboard split point is this F sharp right here. So usually it's this F sharp. Everything below that would be part of the accompaniment, and everything above that would be your piano or whatever sound you want to use. So I'm just going to play our chords, or D minor 7. I move this to a G7, our thumb still below the split point. And then we just move it down to a C. And as long as you have a keyboard that has 61 keys, which is most of them, that has at least that, these chords can work and they can fit within this. This progression is called a 2-5-1. It's very popular in jazz. For now, we're just going to use it just to be kind of simple and give us a jazzy sound. So what I mean by that is the first chord is the 2 chord of our C major scale. Right? So the D minor, or the D minor 7, is the second chord in it. Then the 5 is a 5th. And then the 1, of course, is the G is the 5th, and the C major 7 is the 1 chord of our C major scale. So we'll just try that. Oops, audio accompaniment on, 2, ready, go. So the relative minor to C major, which is 3 semitones down, which is A. So instead of playing a C major scale, we're going to focus what we're going to do on the A here. So, test, just checking my volume. You know what? I'm going to turn my lav mic up just a tiny bit. Test. I think that's probably better. Okay, so anyways, We're going to put our thumb on an A, doesn't matter which A, well, as long as it's not way down there, maybe in the middle of the keyboard. And we're going to learn how to play the blues scale. We're just going to play it up and down. So the first note's going to be A with our thumb, skip a note, C with our first finger. Fingering here is quite kind of important. Of course, you can try it different ways for whatever reason, but this should be maybe your default one. A, C, D with your middle finger, and then E flat with your ring finger. 1, 2, 3. And then cross underneath with your thumb, hit the E. Okay? First finger on the G. Sorry, I call this first finger because I play guitar. But piano people call this finger 2. Anyways, I'll just call it index. So thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle. That's your scale. And we can add the C up here if we want. And they come down. I'm going to go nice and slow. And one more time. Let's try that with our beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. We can try some different things. Let's do the exact same thing, you know, but instead of just playing it simple like that, we're just going to change our starting spot. So instead of starting on beat 1, let's start on beat 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oops. Play it in 8 notes. We're gonna go. And do something with the left hand. It's going to make it both more interesting and more simple at the same time. So when you have the audio accompaniment fingering on, it kind of looks at all your fingers and calculates what the best chord would be based on all the fingers you're playing, and it keeps in mind any inversions or whatever. So this is a way to play a D minor 7, but a more jazzy chord in general would be a D minor 9. Now the interesting thing is if you actually put your fingers and squash all the different like the spread of a D minor 9, all these notes. So we have the D, F, A, C, E. Okay, well I can put the C and the E down here with the F. Now this might not sound good on its own, like that. They took all the different notes and squashed them, but with the accompaniment on, and it calculates that for you. So it's cool, and it's easy to play. Look at this. 4 in a row. skipping over. Okay, here we go. Okay, easy to play. It's easier than this. So just go, now I got my D minor 9. Good. Now the cooler thing about this is it takes this exact same fingering shape and move it to the right 1. Well, I guess that's the left to you, but to the right to the me. We got this chord. Sounds beautiful? No. But add the accompaniment. Now we have a G13. Okay, we explain why. You know what? Just figure it out. Just trust me. D minor 9, G13, and now we're gonna into the exact same shape. And then we can kind of easily get from here to the normal C major 7 we have. So we got. And now all we do is move these fingers down and get back to our C major 7, which is this. Got that? So bum, bum, bum. And this is a way to play the 2-5-1 progression. You know what? On this, you know, the C major 7 has 2 bars there for added color. We can take the second chord, C major 7, and change it to a C major 6. So this could become our progression. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we want to get fancy, we could add an E major at the end. Let's see how that sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. That's a C major C6. So here's our D minor 9, a G13, a C major 7, a C major 6. I'm going to add an E7 at the end of this one instead of C major 6. That E7 at the end. E, G sharp, B, D. If you look at the second progression, we haven't got to the second progression, obviously, but you're going to notice it's in the key of C. You have an A minor, an F, then an E major. Kind of sounds like Havana. Da, 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 da. Or smooth or something like that. That's a Latin, a bit of a Latin kind of a sound, but the point is sometimes you can use the third degree, which is usually minor, but as a major at the end of a progression. In this case, we're going to make a major, sorry, not a major 7, just a major with a 7, so a dominant 7. And that sounds cool. So listen. It sounds better than the E minor. Nice transition chord there. We're going to kind of add these colors to our first progression. Well, instead of the D minor 7, now we have the D minor 9, easy to play. The G13, easy to play. C major 7, not too bad. Then the C major 6, just move your thumb down. Okay, I'll turn the rhythm off, or turn the auto accompaniment off so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Again. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this time, just for my color, I'm going to add my E7. Okay. So now my accompaniment, here's how it sounds. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my E7. Push the fill button, make it variety. keyboards, get used to this. Playing it, taking your hand off. Now your hand's useful, because then it should play the rhythm. So this could be a practice. I think you can just do, take your hand off. Get used to this. Very important in the future, especially when you're moving all around. 2, 3, hand off. Now let's practice the movement where we're gonna play a chord and then do a fill change. Here we go. 1, 2. Put in rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Obviously, we don't want this many fill changes, but we've got to get practice this rhythm here. So 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. Once you kind of got that, you could experiment with other buttons. In this case, I have a transpose button right here. So now on the end of my 4 bars, I'm going to transpose up and down a semitone, just kind of randomly. So listen how that works. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of getting used to my left hand doing something in rhythm of the song. 3, 4, 1, 2. How is that useful? Okay, well I'll show you how that can be useful. I think this is going to be pretty cool. Let's go back up to C. Key. Now I sound like more jazzy because I just changed key in the middle of my progression. Let's go back. So, we'll talk a bit more about right hand. This is straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. This is straight over swing, because the beat's like swung. Da, 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 da. Let's try swing over swing. Swing over swing is kind of what we expect to hear. But then that can make it cheesy. But then again, it is what people expect to hear. So how do you don't want to be cheesy all the time, but you don't want to be too much all the time. So swing over swing is cool. Let's just try swing over swing, but starting on beat 2, 3, 4, 1, down, 2. Straight over swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Now start on beat 2. Let's do swing up, straight down. Beat 2, here we go. Now, this position, this right hand stuff, puts your hand in 2 basic positions with a crossover. Here's position 1. In position 1, and what we're talking about now is improvisation position. So you have a lot you can do here. I just kind of put my finger there just for a moment, just hit this low note. And you don't have to stop here. If you're in position 1, you can use these if you want to. Slide, maybe some. Okay, you can do a lot in position 1. In fact, let's do a little improvising, only using this position. Becomes more important, the different rhythmic ideas you can do. You're starting and stop points, how you control going up and down. You can just play around with this for a while until you kind of get a feel. As we climb up and we do our crossover, now we have another position, another hand position totally, which we can alternate between the 2. So now hear how this hand position sounds. Back and forth between the 2. Now we have to get used to another fingering if we want to add more octaves. So kind of a weird one to start, but once you get it, it's kind of cool. So we got the first bit of the scale, cross over, and really you just play one more note. till you cross under with your thumb again. Sorry. Watch. It's almost like a magic trick. Thumb here, and you're back up here, and then we can go up a full other octave with the same thing. 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I'll show you how to come down in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, cross under, and then complete it. Over with your index finger, back down with your thumb. So from here, from your E flat, with your ring finger, to the D, to the C, to the A, cross over with your index, back to your thumb, cross over again, watch again from here. I'll go slower. Again. Again. 2 more. Last one. So let's go up and down 2 octaves. This and it feels weird, but it's cool. But now we have a whole bunch of different positions. Hand position 1. Want to get to hand position 1 up at the octave. Hand position 2. 1. Then do all these things. And the thing about these hand positions is they just really lend yourself to the notes that really easily work with any kind of song or progression or scale. But in this case, I just went up the scale. I didn't do anything. I didn't start on beat 1. I just kind of felt a little bit jazzy with my rhythm. Yeah. Get up the chord. So, a few things you can do, fun tricks, just little slides here and there. But when you do a little slide, always have a destination point in mind. So, I want to get maybe our middle finger on where it would be in this hand position. This is my destination. This. So then I'm in this hand position. where you slide, how you slide, whatever, but it doesn't matter. But this end spot does. Watch. It doesn't have to be that position. You could go here if you really wanted to. Go anywhere. Let's think about down. Get our thumb on the E, so we're in this hand position. Classical piano players do that. Slide. Be lazy. Most important thing now is just varying up your rhythms a bit. These are pretty simple scales once you kind of get used to it. But adding a straight 8, 16s, triplets, nothing. Right. These notes are guidelines. You can honestly add every single note. And to do that, to emphasize that point, we need to add chromatics. The more important thing, again, like the slide, is your destination. You have the starting spot. And whatever's in the middle doesn't really matter. As long as you play it with confidence, pretend you meant to do it. And the more weird notes that you add and passing makes it sound really like you meant to do that. And some people might sit there and theoretically work all that stuff out, but the truth is the theory is really just to name stuff. Name something that I play, name something you play. It doesn't even matter what you play. Have somebody else later say, oh, that was cool, he did this. And we can just have no idea what we did, and that's fine. You can rely on these resolving in any of these hand positions to get to where you want. Let's go move into the second position, second progression for a moment. There's something more interesting. I did mention it sounds kind of like Havana, so let's add some faster. So here we have A minor. When you end a progression like that, when you start with the minor and you end like on the third here, the major version, or the dominant, sorry, a seventh of the major third gives that latiny sound. The only thing you have to keep in mind, the reason I'm showing this is in this moment when you have this E chord, the G sharp is not in the original key. The only real difference, and the reason why I'm showing you this, is when you're adding for whatever reason any chord that isn't in the key for just a moment, you should find the note that is different and outline it in your melody. melody. So I'm going to not play the progression so quick. I'm going to play it like this. And then our E7. We got our A minor, and the F, and the E7 2, or the E major, which has a G sharp. But then the G sharp doesn't exist here. Point it out. See, now it doesn't work. But now the G works. So the same scale. But now we have the G sharp in our right hand. The scale is the same. Matter of fact, I'm basing a lot on the feeling of the scale, those hand positions, and I'm just making adjustments depending on the chord I'm playing. So I'm only really making this adjustment for that one moment, and then I'm just back to everything else. And this adjustment isn't even that different. You can get rid of this G totally if you want. And just for the moment of the G. Or sorry, just for the moment of the E. I'm going to just play this scale, make it simple for a moment. Scale. I came up in my normal position and then came down and replaced this G for the G sharp and when we're on this chord. And instead of going down here, play this note. So, watch. Yeah. Sometimes I change up my fingering pattern, fingering position. That's okay. The best way to practice, in my opinion, is to practice every way and just do different things. Oops. Back to our thing. guitar on here for 8 hours yesterday, so everything about me is tired. But thank you for this. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to upload this video to YouTube, and I will be back at 2:30 p.m. today with Sarah, our guest singer. It's going to be a lot of fun. She's really amazing, knows so many songs and remembers all the words. So thank you. We'll be back soon.